Okay, so recording is in progress. Okay, and we'll go now for most of the class, and I'm gonna hold about somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes at the end of class. If you want to discuss things, you have any questions, you're welcome to stay and ask a question. We can talk a little bit. And then, of course, if you want to go, don't feel like you have to hang out because there are people still hanging out. So, this Zoom thing is a little weird like that. But if you feel like, oh, I just want to take off, then that's fine. And we'll see you next time. Okay, so here, let's start with the warm-up first. So we're going to do this ringing the temple bell. Everybody knows this. Love this form.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to mute everybody here so that we don't get feedback. Okay. So yeah, I love this form. And I've gone to Tai Chi classes over the many years all over the country, because when I was working in the corporate world, we moved around a lot. So I got a chance to study with lots of interesting people. And no matter who it was that was whose school it was or anything like that, everybody does this form. So my takeaway from that must be that this must be a good form. So it's a kind of massage, right? So let's do it in that spirit. And now I'm massaging on the ribs, come up on the shoulders. And now underneath the collarbone, lightly tap there, kind of energizing lung meridian as we do that. That's cool. And then let's pay attention to where our hands land in the back. And pretty much the way everybody's anatomy is, your hands are going to land right in the center of your back in a place called the gate of life. Right, so that's a very important acupuncture point. So we're stimulating that one, getting our life energy charged up. And now let's go down a little lower. Kind of hit the hips and sides and all that. All right, good. Let's swing our arms around. Big swings, couple back. That's good. And then do like you're swimming. One of our good friends here, Jose. I know you're there, Jose, because I see you. I see your little cubicle. Jose teaches swimming, and at a college, local college in New York City. And we've talked a lot about the similarities between swimming and Tai Chi, which there are many. And let's go backstroke. Matter of fact, one of the actual lineage that I studied in, which is Chen Menching, out of New York City, he called Tai Chi dry land swimming, right? So that's one of the things that we can work with a little bit, that we're so soft as we're doing our practice that we can feel the air that has density just like water. It's not nothing, it's something, and we can feel the actual resistance there. Okay, we'll get into that. Let's do the hips. Hips around both directions. All right. These basic warm-ups, I do them a lot. You may want to do them when you're out leading classes. And it's kind of like do the main joints. So here's the one, right? Everybody's seen this one from Karate Kid, make your knees in the little circle. But it is a really good one. And the knees are one of the most vulnerable joints in these practices. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of our knees. Okay. Let's stand shoulder width, about shoulder width, and we'll go through and do quick 3 treasures. Let's start at the feet today. So we're going to just, if you'd like, if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. If you feel a little dizzy, then you can keep your eyes wide open, or you can kind of half close them. So it's up to you. When we close the eyes, though, we're definitely, it's more of an internal healing practice. So that's something to consider. So as we're standing here, we're gonna imagine that we're like the tree. So let's put our root down into the ground. So first feel the weight even on each foot and just let everything drop down, right? Feel it tangibly dropping down into the ground. Soften our ankles, put a little bend in your knees, soften your knees. Then we come to this part of the body, which is tricky, the whole pelvis. The pelvis gently tips up. When the pelvis tips up, the tailbone points towards the floor. So that's kind of your indicator of what's happening. So gently allow your tailbone to point to the floor. Your lower vertebrae are opening up. Now we move up to the shoulders, put a little space under your arms. Notice that your arms have a lot of weight because they're a pretty big part of our body. Feel that weight and that'll help you relax your shoulders. And then now we get to the all-important head top. So feel like you're gently held and suspended from the top of your head, lengthening up. So we're lengthening up to the sky, and at the same time, we're rooting down into the ground. All right, so this is the alignment that we want to hold for, it's alignment that we want to hold for our practice in everything that we're doing, not just this, but as we do Qigong and Tai Chi, it's all the same in terms of that part. Now, the second treasure, of course, is the breath. So let's take a moment, notice where your breathing is, where you feel it in your body. Right, that's what I'm inviting you to do. Feel your breath where it is landing in your body. Right, and we know the breath just is going to the lungs, but when we're breathing in a relaxed way, we can feel our center and our core engaged in the breathing. So just allow that, what the ancients call, let your breath or your chi sink into your lower dantian. Right? I interpret that as meaning just relaxed breathing. So let that chi sink down, engage your core in breathing using the diaphragm. And now the last part, of course, is the mind. And the mind is filled with all kinds of tricks for us. Right, so let's just, for now, let's just let go of concerns of the day, any worries of the future, anything that's on our mind, and just keep coming back to the body, keep coming back to the breath throughout this practice time. And if you find yourself drifting away, please, no need to criticize. You know, this is the whole practice. The whole practice, when it comes to this mindfulness aspect, I think it's more like coming back than, staying in a place where we're mindful, right? The whole practice is just continual coming back. So if we get used to that, we can, not be so concerned about what's going on with the mind. We just gently come back to the body. Okay, good. All right, let's do a form. So the first one's going to be pushing up and out. So up to the top, exhale out, place the fingers together. Breathe in, push up, and out. Good. Want to notice right away that we're creating more space through the whole torso of the body. Okay, now this one here, when we come to the top, let's just breathe naturally, holding this position. Breathe naturally. Let your head top lengthen up and tailbone drop down. Now spiral gently towards the arm side, which means I'm just turning, right, trying to get a little spinal twist there. Exhale, breathe naturally, however you want. We're back to center, now spiral the opposite way. Again, please keep breathing naturally. I'll be going to breathe in again here. and then exhale out. Let's do one more of those where we do the spiral. Breathe in, palms up over the top of the head, breathing naturally, probably exhaling on the spiral, breathing in, and exhaling the other way, and down. Good. Okay, we'll go from here into do some spine, side bending. Side bending, of course, is super simple, but super powerful on so many levels. Okay. Sometimes this form is cited in certain Qigong texts, certain versions of the 8 brocades, as a form that's specifically designed to calm heart fire. Right? And heart fire is that kind of agitation, upset, right, that we all experience from time to time. So I love it for that reason. I also love it because it's just a wonderful way to exercise our spines, going from side to side. And one last image that I really like is, imagine all the peripheral nerves running from your central nerve, your spine runs out of the spine, keeps branching off to the far reaches of the body. And all those nerves are wrapped in fascia, like everything is wrapped in fascia in the body. And as we bend from side to side, you can almost feel like that fascia is gently stretching, massaging those nerve fibers all throughout the body, sending a signal back up through the nervous system that it's time to calm and restore, allowing the healing to be activated within each of us. All right, that is great. All right, let's come down. I'm going to do one last one that's not specifically from the Vitality series, but it is in a lot of 8 brocades, which to me, the Vitality series kind of has its roots in the 8 brocades, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm not totally sure on that. I would have to ask Roger about that, but I'm thinking that that's the case because a lot of those forms show up in versions of the 8 brocades. So anyway, let's breathe in like we're holding a balloon. Let's get this feeling of holding this balloon against the body. Arms are resting, breathing naturally. Now breathe in, and we're going to turn towards the yellow side. And as you turn, gently twisting, just allow your palms to turn out. Look through your palms. It's like you're releasing the balloon. Come back, holding the balloon. Twist to the other side, release the balloon. This is one of I love this Qigong form as well. I do it all the time at home. It just makes me feel very good all over. And traditionally, it's said that this is the form that is done in support of the whole cardiovascular system, right? Kind of facilitating flexibility in all our blood vessels, right? Which is so important for our functioning. So let's do one last one to each side. Breathe in, gently twist. Let that balloon fly away. And last one. Okay, coming back to center. Good. All right, wiggle. We'll be wiggling throughout, you know. This is good. It's always a good reminder to do this, like with people that you might be sharing with that aren't used to the practice. Because if you're going to have people standing for an hour, more or less, think about that. That's quite a bit. So you want to make sure that you're keeping everybody comfortable, and that's a good way to do it. Okay, we're going to go on to some strength and balance practices. So this first one, feet parallel. Take your arm side foot or your left side foot, put your weight there, and then bring your right foot forward, rest on the heel. Right arm comes up, bent at the elbow to match your right foot. Your left arm comes over, it lines up with your right elbow. Right, this is called lifting hands. Right, sometimes in a different orientation, it's called play guitar. Right, so now let's step back. Open, shifting the weight into the right side foot, then closing into the lifting hands on the other side. Step back, shift weight, open, close. Okay, there's a harmony here that we want to pay attention to. Shift back, and that harmony is between the movement of the leg and the arms. We want them to land at the same time. Right, and they're moving different distances, so that takes some skill that we have to cultivate for ourselves. Breathe in, close into the form. Step back, shift weight, open, and close. Okay, this is a one-legged posture. All your weight should be in that back leg, 100%. You were just resting on the heel just for balance, no weight. Okay, great. Very good. All right, next one we're going to do is called crane spreads wings. So we're going to do it in the opposite orientation, right? Basically 90 degrees to face. So we're going to face to the sides. So the way we'll do that is we're going to just do it like a little loop here, like we're holding the ball. Shift your weight into the arm side foot, and then turn and pivot on your right side foot. Your right hand is at the thigh of the right foot. Your left hand is at your temple. Right, so that's the finished posture. Crane spreads wings. Come back. Hold the ball. Shift to the right side. Turn. Rest on the toe of your left foot now, your left foot. Your right hand is at your temple. So the palms are arranged in such a way that it feels like we're inside this giant bubble, right? This giant kind of protective bubble. Crane spreads wings. So go back and forth. Weight in both feet, hold the ball, shift to your right. Pivot on your left toe. Okay, the palm that with the weighted foot is always at your temple, right? So that's how you know that you got the hands right. So now my right palm and my right weighted foot are together. Left weighted foot, left palm are in harmony, right? And let's do one more. So again, 100% should be in the weighted foot, just resting on the toe, no weight. Right? All right, let's come back. So when we're in those one-legged postures, strengthens your legs, strengthens your core, develops your balance. Now we're going to put it together in a loop that we do sometimes. So we're going to do lifting hands, to the next form called shoulder strike, and then to crane sprint swings. So let's do that a few times. So we're going to start out feet parallel, pivot your left side foot, come into lifting hands. There we go. Now drop your weight into your front foot and then strike. Imagine that you're striking with that front shoulder, right? And your hips are facing off about 45 degrees. So let's go back. One time, drop into the front foot, strike with shoulder. Now turn into crane spreads wings. Okay, your weight should be in your right foot and you're facing your left side. Okay, and then just step back into lifting hands. And now we're starting the loop over. Right, I do a lot of looping practice with these traditional forms, which means I break them down into these little mini forms. Right, so they're kind of like bite-sized Tai Chi practice. Right, and this is a very, time-honored practice method when you want to focus on a certain part of the form and really understand it and improve. So lifting hands, shift forward, strike with the shoulder, turn, face the left, crane spreads wings. So let's do one more and we'll go to the other side. Okay. Just line up on the other side. So now feet parallel, pivot your right foot. Okay, come into lifting hands posture. Weight should be all on your right leg. Now you're going to come forward and turn so that your shoulder is facing the TV. That's what we're lining up with your monitor. My shoulder's aligning to the monitor, which means my hips are off to the side. Then I'm going to turn to the right side. Crane spreads wings. Step back, lifting hands. Strike the shoulder, turn. Crane spreads wings. And one last one. Okay, very good. All right, so I'm going to do one other little. Well, you know what? I think we're gonna move on to do. So we got to make sure we get some integral Tai Chi. And so, see, I've stepped back here. I hope that you have the space. See and check, and if you can make little arrangements in your particular space there. If you can make arrangements to take about somewhere between 4 and 5 steps forward from towards your monitor, right? So you back up, see how I'm backing up. I want to be able to take 4 or 5 steps towards the monitor. Okay, we're going to get there, but we're going to do another little thing first. So we're going to do some just little fundamental things with the legs. So start with feet parallel, pivot your orange side foot, take 1 step forward with the yellow side foot. I'm going to leave my cones up here. Sorry, so you can see these a little better. Okay. Orange foot is pivoted, yellow foot is forward. It's called a front stance, faux stance, different things like that. So let's come into the front stance where we can get something like 50, 60, 70% of your weight into your front leg. Notice that your hips, you want to be facing, again, forward. My hips are facing the direction that my toe is facing, which is moving forward. Right, so I turn into that. Then I shift my weight back, all of the weight back, 100%, so that I can lift that back foot, no problem. Shift forward, turn, and shift back. Okay. Now we're going to do the old. We're going to do the Tai Chi way of doing this, which is always turning. So we're always turning and spiraling rather than moving in a linear fashion. So shift the weight. Now turn towards that turn your waist towards the orange side cone, and then shift the weight forward. Hips come square. Now turn past your front leg. Turn past and then shift the weight back. Turn to the orange, shift the weight forward. Turn to the yellow, shift the weight back. Okay. So this type of waist turning becomes very important in a lot of different areas, but for what we're focused on really here is, walking and doing things down the road like silk reeling practice. We want to be able to move our joints to the full range of motion. So turn your waist, shift the weight. Turn your waist again and shift the weight. Always turning this thing, no matter how we're moving, we're combining and joining, turning with shifting of the weight. Right? And this is a lot to do with how Tai Chi is actually a very powerful martial art. It's combining that turning and weight shifting. All right, let's go the other side. So pivot yellow side foot, take one step forward with the orange. Let's just do get your hips set up, drop your tail down, get about 70% of the weight, head top up, right? Good. Shift back, all 100%. Shift forward and shift back, good. Now let's get the turning. So now I turn to the orange side, shift my weight all the way back, turn to the yellow side, shift the weight forward. Right, and you can see it in your own arms, right? But watch your arms, right? Your arms are really moving a lot, aren't they? And that's because, why? Because you're turning your waist. The arms are connected to your torso. This is how Tai Chi works, right? The movement, the director of the movement is coming from the waist. We'll talk a lot about that in our teacher training. That's coming up on this Sunday, actually. Shift forward, turn the waist square, then turn to the orange side, shift the weight back. All right, great. All right, now we're going to do another little practice tool that's super simple, but also fun for teaching, walking backwards, all that stuff. All right, so this is how we're going to do it. Feet are parallel, again, pivot orange side foot. Okay, shift your weight back. Now, pivot your front foot out 45 degrees, because it's going to be the new back foot. Now, shift your weight into the front foot. Place your back foot forward. Shift your weight, turn your waist, boom, you're done. Okay, now I take the step back. I'm going to repeat it. We're going to do that like a little loop. Shift back, pivot front foot forward, shift the weight to the front, place, shift, turn your waist. Okay? Step back. Weight goes all the way to your back leg, pivot your front foot, shift into your front foot, step through, place, shift your weight, turn your waist. Okay, so this is one way to do walking. Right? We're actually walking in place, and we're going to do whole steps here in a moment. But first, we're going to do a couple of different versions of this. Okay? So this is the way, my preferred way of sharing it, and also what I do in my own practice. I shift the weight and then turn my waist. Now here's another way to do it. Shift back, pivot. You always do this part. You always pivot the front foot out. Now I'm going to move my body in a C or crescent shape all the way through and just shift my weight. So there is no waist turn at the end, because I've already turned it when I move in that C shape. Shift back, pivot the front foot, step in a C, and shift away. Okay, this is another version of Tai Chi walking. It's done in a lot of, like, when Tai Chi is done for like demonstrations of Tai Chi and tournaments of form. A lot of people use this, what's called a crescent step, because it's very beautiful, right? Because we're moving in that C shape, right? So that's why this one gets used. So this is another possibility for you. Okay, stepping back, and now the last one I'm going to show is called the posting step. And this one is good for, posting step is really good for people that may not have, they may be compromised a little bit physically, right? So they want something that helps them feel more balanced and stable, but they're still doing the Tai Chi walking. So now shift your weight back, always pivot the front foot out. Now bring your back foot up and post it right by, resting on your toe, right by your front foot, and then step through and shift the weight. Okay, this is called posting step. And this one might be what you like to do. I mean, there's no right or wrong here. You get to choose. Post, step, and shift. And note also, all the forms end the same way, in the sense that my foot is facing my monitor, my hips are facing my monitor, and this plane of my body makes a 45-degree angle with my leg and my toes, right? So that is a kind of important thing for anatomical structure as well as strength, right? And, for how the form works, which is, we won't go into that right now, but it's very important if you're going to that next kind of thing here. Shift back, pivot out, post, step through. Do one more, and then we'll go on the other side. Shift back, pivot the front foot, always pivot the front foot, post, step, and shift, hips face forward. Boom. Okay, let's go the other way now. So take your left foot forward, your right foot's back. We'll do them let's start with the posting here, and we'll do them in the opposite order. So pivot your orange side foot, post your yellow side foot up, step forward, shift the weight, hips are square, step back, okay, post. And the idea whenever we do any of these things is we want to do them mindfully, right? We want to do them continuously, right? That the movement is like everything we aspire to do in Tai Chi. It's continuous, no beginning, no end. It's smooth. So that it is a complete, even something as simple as this becomes a complete Tai Chi practice in its own. Okay, so that's posting. Okay, shift back, pivot your front foot. Now step in the crescent, C shape, shift the weight, which is really a cool way to do it. If you want to do it that way, pivot, step in that sweeping C shape, and come forward. And one last one. All right, great. Okay, so we have to talk about the back walking. So let's go to the back walking, or back stepping. So we're going to shift our weight here again. So now we start off with, here, I'll make sure I'm on camera here. Got to make sure your weight is in your right foot. Then shift your weight all the way back to your left foot. Turn your waist, turn to the cone, the orange cone, and then reach back with your right foot. Toe, heel, shift the weight, face the hips forward. Right, so I turn and then turn back. Okay, take a big step forward. Shift the weight back, turn the waist. Reach back, toe, heel, shift the weight. Hips are forward, facing the monitor. Shift back, turn the waist, toe, heel, shift the weight. Okay, and as you do this stepping, we want to kind of, we want to aspire to do the walking like our feet stay parallel and we're walking on a railroad track. That's not always easy to do. So don't, if you need to pivot your feet out more for, knee comfort, hip comfort, please do that. Want to make sure your body stays comfortable for where you are. Okay, I shift my weight back, turn to the orange side, reach back, toe, heel, shift the weight. Okay, all right, let's do it on the other side. Okay, now your right leg is back. All right, shift back to your right leg, turn towards the yellow or to the right, reach back, toe, heel, shift the weight, face forward. Toe, heel, shift the weight. And when we step back, toe, heel, it's like we're seeing with our touching of our feet, right? That it's safe when we're stepping because we can't see because it's behind us. So that's why it's important to rest the toe, then shift into the foot by dropping the heel down. All right, great. Okay, so now what I would invite you to do is we're going to come back as far back as we can. We're going to take 4 steps. And then you choose which walking you want to do. So you can do the posting, you can do the crescent, or you can do the martial stepping. And of course, when we're doing this, then we're going to walk up 4 steps, we're going to walk back 4 steps. And when we walk back, we're always going to be doing the same steps. So there's just one version of that. Okay, so let's start. Let's pivot our orange side foot, take 1 step forward, shift back, pivot the front foot. Do your step, hips end up facing forward. 2, 3, okay, now we're going to take 4 steps back. So I just shift my weight back. I turn my waist, remember, to the orange side. Toe, heel, shift the weight. Hips are facing forward. Turn the waist. Toe, heel, shift the weight. Turn. Toe, heel, shift the weight. Turn. Toe, heel, shift the weight. All right, we did it. We did a loop. All right, let's do 1 more over here, and then we'll do 2 again on the other. So again, I'm starting here. Now I'm ready to walk forward. So I shift the weight back. You always pivot the front foot, no matter what. You always pivot that out because that front foot is the new back foot. So now, however you step through and end up so that your hips are facing the direction of your toes. And that's how we're going to keep it nice and simple. Coming into that 70-30 stance as best we can. Okay, now we're going to walk back, shift back, toe heel, shift the weight. 2, Okay. So I think right away you can see how this is, this Tai Chi walking is a complete Tai Chi practice in its own. And, you know, from my perspective on these things, I will say that really everything that needs to happen in Tai Chi, outside of doing Tai Chi seated, which is its own thing and it's beautiful and all that. I'm not disparaging Tai Chi seated, but really the everything that makes Tai Chi work is happening from the waist and the legs. Okay, the hands are they're just an afterthought. And we could have a long discussion about that, and maybe we will one day, but that's why I put so much emphasis on it. And I think it's good to practice this walking type stuff. All right, let's do the other side. So now we're going to pivot your right side foot, take one step forward, your left, shift back, pivot. Okay, and step through. Step through. Step through. And step through. Hips are square. Shift back. Turn your waist. Toe, heel, shift the weight. Turn. Toe, heel, shift the weight. Okay. All right. Well, you know, we're going through this pretty quick here. Let's do the whole standing form. You know what we'll do? We'll do some kind of like what I would call silk reeling, and we'll do it with the integral forms, a couple of them, and we'll do it in the front stance or the bow stance. So let's pivot, arm side foot, take one step forward. With your yellow side foot, let's hold our Tai Chi, arm side palms on the top. Turn your waist, shift the weight forward, harmonize yin and yang. Okay, so now just doing this, move from the center of your body. Check in with your weight shifting. Allow yourself to relax. And flow. And we want to try to keep this going such that it's like perpetual motion, right? It never stops. There's no break in it. It's like a thread, which is what silk reeling is all about. It's the reeling of silk so that it doesn't break, it doesn't get stuck. And it has to be done with consistent force. And it has to be done with smoothness, otherwise that fine thread will break or bunch up. Let your breathing match the movement, however feels right to you. Okay, now we're here. Let's take a step back, form our Tai Chi ball, then take a step forward with your arm side leg, and we'll do it on the other side. Turn. Feel like I'm storing energy. Then, as I come forward, I'm releasing energy out, storing it and releasing it. Closing the body, opening the body. right? And this is the form, of course, we all probably recognize it. It's harmonized yin and yang in the walking position, but we're not moving, we're just doing it in a fixed position, which I love to do all the time. All right, we got time, we're gonna sneak in one more here. And so we're gonna switch our legs again. Now the Tai Chi ball, your orange side palm, left palm's on the bottom, right palm's on the top. Let the ball float down, brush with your yellow side hand, send with your orange. Shift back, find the ball, let the ball float down, brush and send. That's great. Everybody really looking very nice. Relax into it. Those of you that know more about the principles, right, check in with yourself. Right, that's the real work of Tai Chi is embodying the principles. Right, so check in with those, the alignment, right, the relaxation, separating of yin and yang, moving from your center, and being mindful of your center. In that lower dantian. All right, let's switch to the other side. And now your yellow side palms on the bottom. Feel the connection of the Tai Chi ball. It floats down and separates. Brush with the orange side, send with the yellow. This brush knee send shi, there's a tremendous line of energy from your front foot to the sending hand. See if you can sense that. As you drop into that front foot and send, there's energy that's coming right out of the ground and right through that sending palm. All right, that looking really nice. Great job by everybody. And tonight, let's go to parallel footing now. Let's just do a little cloud hands, right, in the same kind of thing. Letting ourselves to, again, slowing down more, relaxing more. Pouring the weight from one leg completely, then emptying that leg out, pour it into the opposite side. Feel the weight pouring through your whole being from side to side. Right. All right, coming back to center. Okay, we'll close with some gathering breaths. Breathing in, allowing the breath to just permeate every cell of your body, enlivening and healing, energizing every cell. Palms down at the side. And just noticing, scanning one time through for a moment. Noticing how you feel. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. And again, I'll stick around if anybody wants to talk about anything for a few minutes, but if not, don't feel obligated. We'll see you next time. All right. Have a great week. We'll see you on Thursday, tomorrow night, for those who are in the class. And all my other friends, hope to see you soon. If you have a question, just you can just raise your hand. Chat. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Dave,
Yes, Kristen.
this is Ruth.
Oh,
But
okay, hi Ruth.
I didn't want to be on the recording.
Oh, I'm gonna stop. I gotta stop the recording.
Okay.
Let me do that.